What's up, guys? Welcome back indeed to the channel. So today we're going to go over the best characters for the support category, the best healers, support characters for Season 4 in Overwatch rank. This was literally just updated 14 minutes ago, but by the time this video goes out, it might be a couple hours old. But for the most part, these are going to be the best heroes to pick and also the worst heroes to pick for Season 4 if you are a support main. If this is your first time here, welcome indeed. Welcome. I'm a GM support player. I've been messing around with Lifeweaver, and I know Lifeweaver isn't on this list, and that is because Lifeweaver is still unavailable to be played in ranked. But I'll give you guys some background gameplay so you guys can go ahead and see Lifeweaver, because that's what everyone really wants to talk about. And I will place Lifeweaver in a tier list here, even though it's not available for ranked. So what you're looking at right now is Overbuff. It's a website that tracks the statistics, so it's able to give you guys the raw stats, as in which character is going to be the best for you guys to try to climb with via just what's actually winning in the game. This is not subjective at all. This is objectively which character has the highest and lowest win rate. So you can use this as a reference, but I want to go ahead and start off the video with this, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on what would be considered a more subjective list. So we have both objective and statistics over here. So starting right off, this is for all of the roles. So it's not like specifically like I play at Grandmaster, but Grandmaster and Top 500 are considered in like the same tier category. Basically, this is all the ranks, okay? So starting right off, the highest win rate, which would be like in the S tier, would be like Brig and Zen, which is crazy. Brig got a massive buff in Season 4, and that massive buff, I mean, it's definitely going to be able to get you guys those wins because you have a giant shield and it stuns, which is a really big thing for Brig. So basically, Brig's ultimate got a massive rework, which really helps her out. Now, her pick rate isn't the highest. It actually has one of the lowest highest win rates, but lowest pick rates in all the ranks. Next up, Mercy and Ana looking in the A tier category, and then like maybe in the B/C tier, we're looking at Lucio, Moira, and towards like the bottom area, which may be the D or maybe E or F tier, we got Baptiste and Kiriko. So this is for all of the roles. Now, what about Grandmasters / Top 500? What is that looking like? Well, it's looking relatively similar, but we do see a change. Towards the higher ranks of the game, Mercy actually is going to be a little bit worse in terms of the positioning, but the win rate actually is higher. So that's actually very interesting. But looking at both of the categories, Moira and Kiriko and Baptiste are actually towards the bottom. Now, is that actually something that can be true? The thing is that when we look at statistics, we also have to factor in another thing, which I do want to mention right now, which is very important. Lucio across the board's win rate will actually be higher by a couple percent. The reason why is because sometimes when you are in overtime and you're just trying to touch the point on the losing side, you will swap to Lucio and you'll just try to touch the point, right? So his win rate will actually be up higher by just a couple percent. But for the most part, Lucio is still overall relatively strong in the win rate category. Obviously, in the higher ranks of the game, when you can actually coordinate things like, you're like, we're playing Reinhardt, let's speed boost in, let's just swing, and we'll get the kill. It actually is really good if you can have coordination, but at the lower ranks of the game, aka Diamond Under, you'll see that the win percent is a little bit lower for certain characters. So factor that in as well when you're looking at these. But in terms of the, again, the lower ranks and the higher ranks, it's a relatively similar list. It's just that Ana has a different position over here. Ana actually has a lower win rate at the lower ranks of the game, but a higher win rate, and I actually think Ana is one of the best supports in the game. It's what I used to climb with to GM literally last season, and that's still what we're basically playing. Although, I'll give you guys some Moira gameplay too, because Moira actually took a massive buff, but look at Moira. She's like at the bottom, 48 win percent, and a 47 win percent at the higher ranks of the game.
Are you kidding me? That is insultingly low.
So this is basically objectively what characters that you should play and maybe stay away from if you just want the raw stats. But I feel a little bit different, and I will give you guys my thoughts on Lifeweaver. So starting right off, this was raw stats over here. This was just updated. Okay, now it's like 10 minutes ago, but you guys get the idea. This is more recent here. But again, we don't have Lifeweaver. So where does Lifeweaver fall in these ranks, and what do I rank these heroes? Because now we're talking about subjective, and a lot of you guys asked my opinion, so I'll give it to you guys. So starting right off. Now, this is for Diamond and below, because I'm going to separate these, rank categories. So, at Diamond and below, which means Diamond, Gold, Platinum, Silver, Bronze. Okay, this is what I would rank the characters. Lifeweaver is 100% one of the most bottom tier characters. And the reason why isn't necessarily just because, like, he doesn't heal enough. He's probably one of the worst healers in the game, but it's because you mess up your team, because your coordination and telling people, hey, I'm going to do this, can you follow up? The coordination doesn't exist at the lower ranks. If you guys have played in maybe Bronze or seen Bronze gameplay, I think that that's really fun content. But when you ask someone to do something, at the higher ranks of the game, they will usually just follow up. You don't have to ask. If you just say, hey, Zarya, I'm going to go use Genji Blade, can you bubble me? They just do it. You don't have to be like, are you ready? If they don't have the bubble ready, they'll say, hold on, I don't have bubble ready. There's more coordination. If you pop, let's say Reinhardt Shatter, which was just uploaded recently, where someone on my team was playing Reinhardt, they went for a Shatter, the Lifeweaver sucked him from the back, and he literally got pulled back, and he was about to shatter the whole team, and guess what? Nothing happened. It was literally in my gameplay that I uploaded showing off the new massive Brig buff, and it's just going to cause a lot of problems when someone is playing Lifeweaver. They're going to be like, what the heck did you do? And then it's going to cause problems.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
There's going to be arguments. Your team is going to be like this person diff or whatever the case may be.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
When you are playing Lifeweaver, I promise you it's going to be a problem at the lower ranks. Or if you make someone mad, you know what they're going to do with Lifeweaver? They're just going to pull you off the map. They're going to troll you. You're going to pop your ultimate and they're going to pull you back. It's just going to be a clown fiesta. They really should update Lifeweaver in terms of not only requiring confirmation to get pulled back, but then also like the way the flower works. Sometimes you're ulting and your team just messes things up. I don't get why the enemy team gets to use Lifeweaver's ability. It's just because, again, coordination doesn't exist at the lower ranks. I put Lifeweaver in the F tier, absolute bottom section of the support category. Now, he's actually a pretty decent support, but he's a terrible healer. He's like lower than Zen levels because it has to charge up. It's just very clunky to swap in between. You can see there's a Reaper here. I'm just like kind of fighting for my life. I actually, I tried over here, but you can see this Reaper's just W keying like crazy.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
And it's just not a character where you can consistently get maybe some eliminations with his current kit, I would say. It just basically needs to be able to just right-click to use his alternate fire versus having to swap these weapons. It's just very clunky, and the dash is really low. Like, if you compare the dash to, like, Moira's, because they're supposed to be, like, kind of friends, I guess, because they have kind of some sort of, like, a friendship in the lore. Nonetheless, the fade on Moira is, like, 1,000% better. Why didn't she just help him out with, like, the little fade ability? You don't have the ability to cleanse, you heal for 25. It moves you, like, barely the same distance as McCree. It's just overall not looking too good for this character. Next up, though, in the C tier category, just because the healing numbers aren't there, Brig, Lucio, Zen, they require a lot more coordination. They require your team to know what they're doing. So at Diamond and below, I would say if you really want to climb, maybe swap off these heroes if this is your main, as you could do much better with some of the other heroes that I want to mention. Bap, there's no real change with Bap. Brig did get a huge buff, and I noticed she has a very high win rate, but honestly, again, this is just my subjective opinion. I think that there are better options than Brig, Lucio, and Zen, unless you're a god with them, but this is, again, Diamond below. So if you were really good with them, you'd be in Masters, Grandmasters, top 500. So that's at least my opinion on that. Bap's just a solid pick over here. Next up, Mercy. There's no changes. Mercy's just always been good because of res. And then with Moira over here, she actually got a massive buff. I'm going to actually give you guys some Moira gameplay here. So Moira actually has a massive change in Season 4, and I just dropped a video if you guys want to see the full video, but nonetheless, what happens is Moira heals for 50% more in terms of the numerical stats from the, not raw numbers, but it's a heal over time. I was thinking about doing this, and this is gameplay where I'm like, can I go to GM, unranked to GM playing Moira only? And what I've been trying to do with Moira, because Fade is so amazing, is I would just take abilities. You can see at the very beginning, I took the rock to the face, with the Sigma, because Sigma actually does a little bit less damage with his follow-ups. He can't, like, one-shot you. But the thing is that if I get hit with Sigma's rock, right, with Moira, I would then just fade out. I was playing super aggressive here, and I'm trying to, like, take a McCree sticky flashbang grenade, and then I'm just gonna fade out. It's so I can make the enemies use their abilities and waste their abilities on me, because Fade is on such a short cooldown, and it's just really good overall. And that's kind of how I'm trying to climb with Moira, because it's really hard in the higher ranks to climb with Moira, because you don't have the impact like I would have with Ana. I have insane impact with Ana because of sleep and anti-nade, those lead up to kills. But with Moira, what leads up with a kill? What I'm trying to do is just make people waste their abilities, waste their time trying to hit me, and I'm playing kind of like a DPS Moira, and you can definitely do that because when you heal someone, it lasts for 3 seconds. So just heal, like just mouse over them, and then you don't have to mouse over them for 3 more seconds, and you go back to DPS Moira, and then you can go back to heal. It's really good for the amount of stats you can get Moira this season. Moira in the lower ranks is Diamond and below. She's probably one of the better heroes to play. I still consider Ana to be the best, which is obviously in the S tier.
This right here is my favorite thing.
But Kiriko, surprisingly, I mean, look at the stats. Like, Kiriko is on the bottom, on the lowest rank, and in the highest rank.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
which is crazy because I still think Kitsune Rush is one of the best. I put her in the A tier, okay? That's my personal opinion. I still think she's good, so if you guys just want numerical stats, yeah, she's arguably one of the worst heroes in the game right now in terms of winning, if you want to climb up in ranked. In the S tier, you guys already know, it's Anna. Like, I already talked about Anna. I've always mentioned how OP Anna was, and literally the one season, I tried her legitimately for one season, hit GM. Easiest thing ever. Maybe Mercy when she had the instant res button was probably the easiest thing, but I didn't really want to play Mercy to GM because it's only so much pain I can endure. Like, same thing with Moira. Like, I can only play Moira for so long before I'm like, dude, there's just not enough impact that the character offers. Mercy does impact the game, but it's not in a fun way. It's literally you hit res. Whereas Anna, you do those crazy sleeps when you like have a Nano Blade Genji, and it just feels so dang good. But this is my tier list for the lower ranks up until Diamond. So this is my list for Diamond and below. Now, what about like the higher ranks of the game? What's the difference here?
Good question.
Well, it is quite different. So I actually don't have Lifeweaver in the bottom. I actually put Moira on the bottom. Again, via statistics, and I've always said Moira is one of like the worst heroes in the game. And the reason why is because all they provide for you, if you're trying to win games, there isn't enough impact that you can do in most situations, because you compare this character to any of the other characters on the roster where like you have a bad piece immortality that can like win a team fight if you know how to position it, make them use certain abilities, and then you immortality and you kind of win the team fight because of certain things, or Anna Sleep, anti-nade. But like a Moira Coalescence, good luck. Bruh. Good luck. I know it builds pretty fast, but it's still towards the bottoms here in terms of like how good it actually is, because ultimates at the higher ranks of the game matter a lot more than the lower ranks, because lower ranks people just kind of waste ultimates. So I'm considering Moira in like the worst tier category for Grandmaster / top 500. Next up, I consider Lifeweaver to be still pretty low in the tier, but at the higher ranks of the game, there is coordination. If you're like, I'm gonna ult, can you pull me this certain way, or I'm gonna pop McCree ult, I'm gonna go to the high ground, can you throw me the Lifeweaver flower? Sure. There's a lot more coordination, and it works a lot better at the higher ranks of the game versus the lower ranks of the game, and that's why I actually consider him at least a little bit more impactful.
Overrated as in my opinion. I mean,
but there's still so many times where like they're not even intentionally trying to throw or ruin you or do anything wrong. It's just that sometimes with Lifeweaver, you're trying to help out your team, but it's just like you accidentally pull someone when he's doing like an ultimate, and it just doesn't work out. But there's more coordination at the higher ranks of the game, so I still think he's better than Moira. He can actually impact the game a little bit more.
A little bit.
Next up over here though, while I'm avoiding someone on my team, over here for the gameplay, let's fast forward it. Of course, it's the private profile that we gotta avoid. Next up over here, so I put like Bap, Lucio. There's no real changes with any of these characters. And then Brig is actually pretty good at the higher ranks, because the ultimate is very, very impactful at the higher ranks of the game. And that is because, again, ultimate usage is just much better overall at the higher ranks of the game. And then also because Widow exists at the higher ranks of the game. I still think Mercy is a very strong pick if there's like Widow v Widow, which is very common once you get into like Grandmasters, especially on certain maps. Like, for example, Circuit Royale at the higher ranks, it's like almost always Widow, Junkertown, Widow. It's just very relevant. Now, for the S tier categories, I actually think Anna, Kiriko, Zen. I know Kiriko's technically on the bottom, but I still think she's like an S tier character. That Kitsune Rush is just too dang good. Zenyatta Discord board, it's gotten a lot more popular just for Zenyatta to literally throw the heal orb on the tank, and then throw the damage orb on their tank, and you just win the tank trade every single time when it's like Ryan v Ryan. He drops his shield, he just takes so much damage. Or if you're like this matchup, if we had a Zen and we had a Rissa versus the Reinhardt, Rissa's just going to play as much DPS as possible, right? So the Ryan would actually lose out in a lot of the situations just due to Discord orb just existing. He doesn't even need to like land any shots. Zen can still take out snipers. He's really good at the higher ranks of the game because they know what they're doing. I still think that Anna is like, I would consider Anna just a little bit above all the heroes. I know I might be biased because I'm an Anna main.
I accuse you of capping.
But I'm literally saying the character is overpowered. I'm not saying that they're balanced or anything. I think Anna's just a little bit better than everything in the game right now in terms of support. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for my thoughts and my tier list, as well as giving you guys the like raw stats. Like, this is not something we can argue. This, I mean, you can argue with me. But for the most part, these are the raw stats. So it's kind of interesting to see that Kiriko has really fallen out of favor. Maybe Kiriko will get some buffs later down the line, because I just find it wild that Kiriko is in the bottom. I would have never guessed Kiriko was in the bottom. Literally the lowest win rate in the entire game across all of the rank section. But now you guys know my thoughts on Lifeweaver as well. But that's going to go wrap it up for the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you'd like to see more Grandmasters Overwatch content and videos, subscribe from the bell, and I'll see you in the next video. And let me know your thoughts on your tier list if you have one down below. Peace out.